Manuel and Nooms, welcome to the chaos of On Air on Friday. Thanks for joining us today. I'm super excited, partially because I'm biased because it's a security topic, but also, I know a lot about what they're going to be talking about, but I'm just very, very, very excited to be talking about what they're going to be talking about. How many times can I say talking about? Man, I really just...
Let's let our guests introduce themselves.
Yeah, I didn't hit the part on that.
We are used to the chaos, don't worry.
Nooms, let's start with you. Who are you? What are you doing here, Nooms? Tell us that.
I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing here, but thanks for having us. I'm a senior product manager for a new service that we just launched called the AWS Security Incident Response.
Very nice. Very nice. Manuel.
I am also a product manager, so be careful. We might give you too many requirements for today.
Great.
I'm part of the security incident response team too.
Very nice. Don't worry. I was a software engineer in my life previously, so I know how to sandbag product managers.
How many story points is that?
Yeah. I will be sure to make the easiest requirements take at least a month.
What's the t-shirt size on that? Are we going Scrum or Agile? Yeah, I feel like I'm going to barf.
We missed this in the intro, Kyle. Before we jump in real quick with our friends here, we've got promo codes today. We've got a survey, so you can fill out a survey for us later. You will get a code, but you have to have an AWS Builder ID, so go sign up for a Builder ID if you don't have one now so you can get some of these $20 in credits. Anyway, let's get into what we're going to be talking about today with security incidents response. What have you brought for us, Manuel and Nooms?
Yeah, so today we're going to talk to you about the new service that we launched at reInvent 2024. And to kind of give you a little bit of a background about why we launched it, we took the front lines of our experiences with security incident response, both from the AWS customer incident response team and actually some really good lessons learned from what our current product offering is with AWS Managed Support, AMS. And kind of took those offerings and then also listened back to our customers or from our customers in true Amazonian fashion and created an incident response service that allows customers to quickly prepare for, respond to, and recover from security incidents.
So that sounds all fine and dandy, but why would we need to bring something like that to our customers or to the AWS community as a whole?
Yeah, I can take that one. There are a couple of reasons. Number one, many of our customers don't really have the time or the capacity to look at all of the security alarms they might be getting, right? They would rather be playing golf or doing something else. So you don't want to have a team just looking at those alarms 24/7, 7 days of the week. That's problem number one. Second, many of our customers actually struggle with dealing with incidents, with coordinating what to do, what do I do, what can I do to contain, how can I reduce the blast radius of an incident if they are actually having one. We don't want you to get there. That's why we want the monitoring and we want to monitor all of your alarms. But if you do, we want to help you in case you get an incident.
We saw a launch partner commenting in chat there. That's pretty interesting too. I'm sure we'll hear a little bit about that as we move into this. Can I want to ask the noob question here. So I've moonlit in the security side occasionally, but I usually let Kyle just keep me on the straight and narrow there. But I want to ask. Yeah, I know. Like putting my trust into Kyle, really. It feels weird. But I want to ask for those of us who are not, day-to-day living in security dashboards, dealing with incident response. I mean, I can guess at what makes these things really complex issues to deal with, but could you tell me a few of the examples of why? Like, why is there complexity in dealing with these security incidents?
Yeah, I think it starts off with where resources are being managed and deployed. I think a lot of our customers are deploying resources outside of AWS, are still managing resources on premises. And then on top of that, you can throw in the different layers of what all the tooling and services are used to kind of ingest those different findings. And it literally takes like its own graduate degree to understand kind of what you're looking at. That's problem number one. I think problem number two, we talk about this concept of a swivel chair a lot in our kind of industry, right? But when you it's the first stage of just understanding what you're looking at, and then it's the second stage of reacting to what you're looking at. And a lot of customers struggle with being able to get the right stakeholders in their room. How do you streamline those communication efforts? How do you make sure that everyone's notified? And it's super meaningful to customers who are specifically kind of in their journey to DevSecOps, but are still kind of managing just a DevOps environment.
And so you could say when it comes to helping our customers that are engulfed in security events and not understanding how, maybe not even it's not the lack of understanding, but there's so much that they're dealing with, right? And they need assistance. The security incident response service is there to help them out with that. But it's more than that too, because it sounds like the way that this thing is built. Tell us more about how it's built, because there's some really cool components other than that, oh yeah, we're here to help you respond to security events.
Yeah, I'll start off by giving kind of a primer, and then I'll let Manuel kind of jump in. But at a high level, what we have is both the proactive and a reactive capability. The proactive capability allows us to basically be that kind of secondary eyes on, glass, and we use technology and automation to do that as quickly as possible and escalate security events so that, like what Manuel said, you can go golf. The second aspect of it, though, is how do you get in touch with the right people at the right time? And what we have through the service is the ability for our customers to access the customer incident response team, or the AWS CERT, what we like to call it. And that team is available 24/7, globally positioned, 365. And it gives our customers the ability to get the immediate security incident response support they need.
Very nice. I know we're going to take a look at this. Yeah. Can we maybe pull that up and keep talking?
Sure.
Yeah. Wait. Hold on. You did not just start a demo. You know what's coming.
I didn't call it that.
If you've watched OnAir before, you know what happens before a demo. We got to do a demo dance. 10 out of 10 times it works. If we don't, we're going to do the demo dance.
60% of the time it works every time. Is that
all right?
A statistic?
Demo dance. Wow, what's going on with me here?
Okay, let's.
Your lipstick is caller. Don't bother, Angel. Sorry.
Wow, I'm
flashback to high school.
Nooms, can we pull up your screen? Can we take a look at as we keep talking? I'm reminded of things like on the dev side, working with security, right? Like, I've often heard a lot about security. Alert fatigue, things like that. I'm curious if we're going to see something addressed here about that. And, look, when I was a kid, my dad would take me out on the golf course and I would end up reading The Hobbit in the golf cart because I just was bored. And that might be maybe like how I feel about security.
You read The Hobbit because you were bored?
It's just not my passion area, but I know it's important. It's important to be out on the golf course with my dad, spending bonding time with him. It's important to be in these dashboards, even for developers who maybe are not as passionate about security as like Kyle and you two are. So I'm hoping to see maybe in this tool some ways to bring me in to the conversation here.
Yeah, that explains a lot, by the way. In terms of
what.
But let's start with guard duty, and I'll kind of give the mic to Manuel to talk about like how the benefits of guard duty are tied to the service.
Yeah. So, as you mentioned, we support a couple of detective tools, and guard duty is the prime example here. So guard duty is constantly looking for a threat activity on your account. So you have to be like really quickly looking at it, reacting very fast to whatever guard duty says, so you can confirm whether this is an incident or maybe it's expected behavior. You don't really have the capacity or want to do that. So that's where our automation and security incident response comes in, right? Because we ingest all of these findings and we automatically start triaging them. What does triaging mean? It means, hey, is this really worth our time? Do we really need to go and investigate? Is this really something bad happening in the account? Or, hey, this is actually expected behavior. Maybe we just need to tune guard duty so it doesn't alert us about this. A quick example is guard duty might detect some suspicious activity coming from another server of another domain. And we know, based on the knowledge that we exchange with you as a customer, that, hey, this is actually a known domain for me. So don't alert me on that. So the benefit of that is you don't have to keep looking at the dashboard. We are doing that for you. And we will only contact you whenever it's needed. So one way of showing how this actually works is that the service, so you know whether we're looking at these findings. GoDuty starts triggering findings. We start running our automation, deciding whether they are worth our time or not. And then if we realize hey, this is actually expected behavior, we start archiving those findings. So in this example, you can see that there are multiple findings, like 49 findings. And then in the archive findings, you've seen that the service has probably looked at it's loading, but it's hundreds of other findings that we have looked, and we have decided, hey, this is expected behavior. No need to go further than that. The service also has the ability to create suppression rules so that if, going back to the previous example, if there is a domain that it's known by one of our customers, that, hey, any activity coming from this domain, it's known, it's fine by me, just don't alert me about it in the future, the service also does that. So NUMS is showing here kind of the happy path, right? Like these are all the findings that we analyze. This is all the findings that we have archived because there's not an incident. But we can move into what happens when we actually detect that something is going bad. Any questions here so far?
No, sounds pretty. Sounds like it sounds pretty. It sounds like a way to de-stress the incident responder lifestyle.
Yeah, and that's what we heard from a lot of our customers. Yes, because this work is time consuming, right? Like, and over time, you can be the best security engineer, but like you just get fatigued. You get tired of just looking at this type of alerts. So you want to be moved more towards like a little bit of proactive work, more strategic security work, posture improvement, all of those other bigger strategy or strategic security aspects. You want your team working on that, not necessarily looking at the hundreds of alerts that can be generated on your environment.
We had a question from chat, Manuel and Nooms. Is there a free tier, some sort of trial run for a given environment? We at the viewer says they have security handled by other tools, right? And they want to compare.
Yeah, we don't have a free tier. However, we can discuss that. So you can definitely contact our sales team so we can arrange something. We've done it with a few customers, but if you are going to the console, the service is going to be enabled at full price. Okay. And just to add up on that, we ingest findings from GuardDuty, of course, as we're looking at the demo, but we also ingest findings from third-party tools via Security Hub. So we have integrations with CrowdStrike, Glazework, and Micro.
To go back to what you were saying, Manuel, one of the first things I learned as I got more into the security space was this is what you spend a lot of your time on, is prioritizing what's coming in, right? Like this is why CVEs have priority rankings and things like that, because you just can't address everything that's out there, right? You can't. Some things don't have remediations, right? Some things are out there without the capability to remediate.
Yeah, and we learned that too, by the way. As Noam was mentioned, this is the result of years of investment from AMS and the CERT team. What we learned is like if we wanted to look at all of the alerts that our customers receive, we'll probably have to hire all the security engineers in the world. So we don't have that type of a budget, of course, and we don't want to do that. So what we do is we leverage automations a lot. So over the years, we have done, okay, what are the tasks that our security engineers execute to determine whether this alert is a possible incident or is definitely expected behavior. So that is what's happening behind the scenes on security incident response. You can see that here we're looking at the dashboard, the membership in this account. Of course, we have enabled the proactive response. Let's take a look at what happens when we actually detect something. So for the purpose of this demo, we came up with a fake incident, right? So in this case, one of the hundreds of alarms that we receive, we determined that, hey, this might actually be a real incident. There must be something going on. So the service creates an incident to you as a customer. We receive an email notification. Noams is going to talk a little bit more about all of the cases and all of that. But at this point, just to close with what happens, you can communicate with our security engineers. We can also execute some containment actions on your behalf. So if you are, again, in the middle of a golf course, not close to your laptop, and you definitely need us to help you contain this incident so it doesn't get worse, we can also do that on your behalf.
I would have already had my laptop if I was forced to be on the
There you go. Yeah.
because I would not be playing.
Yeah, and actually, so bringing back, AM, where'd you go? Your head's behind the comment.
The comment's more important than
So
me.
another comment, we're in the middle of shutting down some AWS security stuff like Security Hub in favor of other similar third-party tools, but it seems like security is now being centralized in AWS. Glad I caught this live. That's awesome. Glad to hear that. I mean, if you also have more questions about this, these are the two to ask. AM and I, we're just the face. This is the brains. Like in between AM and Kyle, the brains exist in this sandwich. I tried to think of the golf terms, didn't work out.
So Gnomes, why don't you show us now how the console actually works with cases, all of the other features, because it's not only about contacting a security expert and creating and detecting things. There are other benefits that we provide in the console.
Yeah, thanks for teeing that up. So like Manuel said, there's kind of different flavors of how this service gets then used by our customers or consumed by our customers. One is the fact that we'll proactively escalate a case to you. But like Manuel said, one of the things that we do provide too is the reactive capability of you triggering an incident and then you being able to self-manage that internally within your own security teams or partners. Someone in the chat had mentioned that, there's a partner live with us as well. So one of the things that we did with the service, which was new and new for AWS, is that we launched a partner program. So we have 13 partners that we're working with alongside this service to provide co-incident response support. One of the things that we really value and kind of tout constantly is security incident response is a team sport. So, and given that our customers are deploying resources both inside and outside of AWS, we use our partners to be able to make sure that customers feel like they're getting the end-to-end support that they need.
Yeah, and so I'm going to interrupt you. That's what I'm really good at, actually. That's why I'm here. So we have a question in the chat. Partners,
what do you mean, Kyle?
Can we get that list somewhere? Nick, where are you? Bring the comment up. Gosh, can't trust this guy with anything, not even buttons to click.
Yeah.
All right, partners, you say?
We can get that list to you. Yeah, awesome. For sure. It's on our product service page. But we'll make sure to give you.
I'll pull that link up.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. So like Manuel was saying, let's assume that we are kind of communicating on this case back and forth. Manuel's golfing, but I could say, hey, security engineer here, if I can spell properly.
See, you should have done the demo dance.
I know. I'm sorry.
This is actually just really a test to your typing abilities.
I know, and it's not great. I'm really glad AI is taking over the world. But yeah, so basically what that would do is that would communicate with Manuel back and forth. If a customer incident response person on our side is engaged, you have a dedicated security expert that's with you from start to finish in the case. There's a bunch of other kind of undifferentiated heavy lifting that we provide as far as the service goes, not only with our own set of APIs, SDK that allow you to integrate across third-party tools, but also just making sure that the experience is streamlined as possible with being able to control permissions, who gets access to the case, sending attachments back and forth, and then it basically tracks all your case activity as well. Anytime our customer incident response team is involved, we'll also provide you a post-incident response case that has a bunch of information, summarizes the context of the case, tells you what the threat actor did, and then also hydrates that information with tactics, techniques, and procedures that you could leverage to kind of make sure that your account and your resources are back to a steady state.
Well, hot diggity dog. I don't know why that's the thing that came to mind. Man, I tell you what, there's some awesome questions coming through. Nick, can you find the button again to highlight Cheyenne's question? There we go. Just curious then on what the roadmap is to centralize more security services like Guard Duty, Detective Hub, and I'm assuming as it pertains to security incident response, is this where partners are being added on-prem? How can we frame it for security incident response?
Yeah, so we are part of that detection, that suite of detection and response services that are provided to AWS. There's more information that I can provide to you if you want to contact us offline, but there's definitely some efforts to kind of make sure that there's a kind of better together experience across all these services and that we're helping our customers get the support that they need from start to finish in that kind of security incident response lifecycle. We're just a piece of that lifecycle now.
Awesome. Well, I wish we could keep you on the green. 18 holes is come and gone, and whatever other golf terms there are out there, who knows? But hey, Nooms, Manuel, it was great to chat. I'm glad to have you two on to talk more about security incident response.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
I see it de-stressing a lot of organizations, especially when they want to, just want to focus on building cool stuff, and let security be handled, response be handled by someone else. Or maybe you're the AMs of the world. You're just like, yeah, security.
I'm going to read The Hobbit.
Yeah. All right, friends.
Kyle will take care of it. I'll read The Hobbit.
Yeah. Kyle as a service. Cass.
We'll see you next time, Noobs and Manuel. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.